Hi, my name is Ronald. I'm working in the core development team at Gambio, and today I'd like to introduce you to the new theme system. In this tutorial, I will show you how to work with the theme system by creating a new theme which extends Malibu, the new default theme in Gambio. In the next step, I will show you how to create content manager entries automatically. And then I will show you how to work with asset files such as HTML templates, Stylesheet files, and JavaScript files. Before we start, let's define our goal for this video. We want to create a new theme called The Darkness, which is extending Malibu, the new default theme in Gambio. The Darkness should have a dark background, and it should have more features. Let me show you the features we want to have. Okay, let's compare. On the left side, you'll see a freshly installed shop. On the right side, you see the result where we want to get. In order to achieve this, we have to do some things. We first have to replace the logo with our custom text. And then we want to display a toggle button to switch between the dark and light mode. Then we want to include a link in our navigation menu. And we want to show a text block, a promotional text block. If we scroll down, we see that in our darkness theme, we have included two widgets. One is the YouTube widget you see over here. And we replaced the entire footer with this Google Maps widget. We also added some styling, some hover effects. The new theme system will deprecate the old template system. As a software developer and theme designer, it's always recommended to switch to the new theme system. In the next slide, I will tell you why. By using the new theme system, you will benefit from a new standardized file and folder structure, and you will get the new power feature theme inheritance. You will also be able to create theme-specific content manager entries. And for your style sheets, you can use SCSS. Let's take a look into the theme file structure. In the Gambio shop root, there's a new folder called Themes, which includes all your themes available. The default one is Malibu. If you open that folder, you will find several files and folders. HTML, images, JavaScripts, and styles are the folders for your assets. The text phrases contains locales for your multilingual texts. Config folder, the theme JSON file, and the settings default JSON are metadata files. These files contain the configuration values for your theme. As previously mentioned, the new theme system allows us to make use of the theme inheritance feature. Our darkness theme will inherit from Malibu, but that's not the limit. You can create unlimited inheritance chains. For example, you can create a new theme called Real Darkness and extend from Darkness. And then we can create another theme, like Christmas Real Darkness, and extend from Real Darkness, and so on and so on. So the possibilities are endless. To get a better feeling about the new theme inheritance feature, let me show you a quick example. Malibu itself is an extension of HoneyGrid. You can see that by opening the theme JSON file and looking into that line extends. HoneyGrid is the ID of the HoneyGrid theme. So you always put the ID value of the base theme into that extends value. If we look into HoneyGrid, you will see that the theme JSON contains the same ID as the value in extends. This is how the theme inheritance works. Very simple. Okay, let's start developing our theme. Go to the themes folder and create a new folder called Darkness. First of all, we have to copy the metadata files from Malibu to our darkness theme by selecting the config folder the settings default JSON file and copy them to our darkness folder. These files configure Malibu in our inheritance. In the future, this step won't be necessary. The next step is to create our theme metadata file. Go to the darkness folder and create a new file called theme.json. In that file, we put in all the information about our theme. The most important one is the ID. It should be always unique. And then we have the title. It should describe the theme. The next line is about the inheritance. We indicate that this theme is extending from Malibu. This is very important. The next line describes the theme creator. And then we have the version. The version should be in format of semantic versioning. And the last line will be filled with our content manager entries. Gambio provides several content types, but in this tutorial, we will only make use of two: the link elements and the information elements. Link elements are navigation points. For example, the menu items in the top navigation bar. And then we have the information elements. These are widgets that can be placed anywhere in the shop. In order to create link elements, we have to insert a new key value pair in the contents field. The key has to be named link pages, while the value is an array. Each value is an object, representing a link. The first value in this object is the type. It should be link. The next line is the position. In our case, it's the main navigation, because we want our link to be displayed in the main navigation bar. The next line is the status, which indicates whether the link should be displayed or not. And then we have the name. This name is only displayed internally in the Gambio admin. It will be not displayed in the store frontend. And then we have the title, which is displayed in the store frontend. And then we have the links. And the last line gives us the option to open the links in new tabs. To create information elements, we have to insert another key value pair in the contents field. The name has to be info elements, and the value is an array again, with each info element represented as object. The first line is the ID, which should be unique. And then we have the type, which should be content. The next line is the position. And then we have the status to indicate whether it should be active or not. And then we have again the internal title and the heading that can be displayed in the store frontend optionally. And then we have the actual text content, which is always displayed. With all the information in our theme metadata file, the theme is now ready to be installed. Let's go and do it. First, we have to go to our Gambio admin and switch to Content and Template Settings. And under Theme Selection, choose Darkness and save. And now, let's see what's happening in the Content Manager. We see we have now this link, Gambio, which is the previously defined link element. And if we take a look into that link, you will see the title and the link address. It's ours. Let's switch over to the elements. And then we see we have that promotion entry as well. Let's check it. And there you see our previously defined text. So by just installing the theme, we have new content manager entries. Let's go to the shop frontend. Okay, the shop is now loaded. And we see our link here. There is nothing else changed. So, alright, we are ready for the next modifications. Let's start working with assets. The first topic we will cover is the HTML templates. As a theme developer, you will most likely add your own HTML snippets. The new theme system allows theme developers to either create their own HTML snippets or to modify parent HTML snippets from the parent theme. For this mechanism, we have two folders. One is System and the other one is Custom. Let me explain the difference between these two folders. Let's take a look into the System folder. If you create a new HTML file with a completely unique file name, it is considered a new HTML snippet. But if you create a new HTML file with the exact same file name as one HTML snippet file in the parent theme, it counts as replacement. To specify this, in our example, darkness is extending from Malibu, and Malibu is extending from Honeygrid. In the graphic you can see Malibu also contains boxlogin.html. If we now create in our darkness theme a new file with the exact file name boxlogin.html, it will replace entirely the content of the Malibu boxlogin.html. This is very important to know. The same mechanism applies to HTML snippets existing in Honeygrid, as Honeygrid is the first member of the entire inheritance chain. If we want to replace one HTML file in Honeygrid, we just create in our darkness theme a new HTML file with the exact file name as one HTML snippet in Honeygrid. The custom folder has a different approach. It is used to extend blocks. Let's take our example. If we create a new file called index.html in the custom folder of our darkness theme, it will allow us to extend blocks in the parent theme index.html file. Again, if you create a new file with the exact file name as another HTML snippet in the parent theme, it will allow you to extend blocks of that file in the parent theme. If we create a new file with a unique file name, you will be able to define multiple blocks of various locations in just one file. So that means you can just have one file and define multiple blocks. You can extend multiple blocks of different locations. It doesn't have to be the index HTML. It could be the header HTML, footer HTML, etc. This is the difference. Let's create our folders. Go to darkness and create a new folder called HTML. Within that folder, create two new folders called Custom and System. With the gathered information, we can now start developing our first HTML snippets. Go to the System folder and create two files. The first one is the darkness Map Widget HTML. It is just a div with an ID and an iframe embedding Google Maps. Don't forget to put the ID, it is important for the stylizing part. The other file is the darkness video widget. Again, it's just a div with an ID and an iframe embedding a YouTube video. Let's go to the custom folder and create two new files. The first file, darkness modifications, has a unique file name, and therefore we can define multiple blocks in just one file. Doesn't matter where the original file is located. That means we have the layout header here, and it could be in the header HTML of the parent theme, but it doesn't matter. We can just replace the original block with our content here, which is in this case our h1, the darkness. Next block. In this case, we are appending to the original block. This block adds just another li element, but with our dark mode toggle to the top menu. And then we have the third block. In this embeds a content manager entry, our promotional text. Remember that ID? We defined that ID earlier in the theme.json file. This is our promotional text. And we are just prepending that to a specific area. Let's switch to the index.html file. And this is only replacing or extending blocks of the index.html of the parent theme. In this case, we are replacing the footer with our darkness map widget. You remember? And then there's the second block. We append, this time our darkness video widget. This is the YouTube video. We are just appending that to the main content. With all these HTML files and all the extended blocks, let's see what's the result. Let's switch to our Gambio admin. Go to Toolbox and Cache. And let's clear it. And now let's preview our theme. It could take some time to recompile. Alright, we see some changes. We have the promotional text over there. We have the button in the top menu. We have that link. And if we scroll down, we will also see the two widgets. But that doesn't look good. So the next step is to stylize all the changes. And this is leading us to the next part. The styles folder, the place of the style sheets. And again, we have the same pattern, system and custom. If we take a look into the system folder, you may recognize a pattern. Exact is the same mechanism as in HTML. If we create a new file with a unique file name, it counts as a new style sheet. It won't be loaded anywhere. But if you create a new style sheet file with the same file name as one style sheet file of the parent theme, then it replaces entirely the content. This is the same as in HTML. The custom folder has a different mechanism. Every stylesheet file that is placed into the custom folder will be included on every page. And again, let's create our folders. Go to the darkness theme and create a new folder called Styles. Within that, create two new directories, one system and custom. Let's work with style sheets. Open the system folder and create 4 new files. The first one is the darkness map widget SCSS. This file contains all the styles for the Google Maps widget. Remember when I said we need the ID? The next file, the darkness mode SCSS. This file is responsible for the dark background and some accents. But this style only applies if the body tag has the dark mode class. The third file is responsible for stylizing the dark mode switcher. And again, we have the ID here and also in the HTML template. And the last file, video widget. This file is responsible for the styles of the embedding YouTube widget. Go to the custom folder and create a new file. Name it darkness SCSS. In that file, we have some styles for the header and for the promotional text. At the bottom, we import all of our system files. And this file will be included on every page. So, keep that in mind. This is like a global style sheet. Before we enter the last section, let's see our intermediate result first. Go to the Gambio admin and clear the cache. And then return to the store frontend. And we see some changes. Our style sheets are working. We have the new promotional text here. The logo is replaced. The switcher is there. The link is properly styled. And our 2 widgets are also properly styled. But the switcher is not working because we didn't implement any JavaScript yet. But we can check the result if the body tag class is working. Just by inserting the dark mode class, we can just verify it. And it's working. Let's move on. In this last section of this tutorial, we will work with JavaScript files. And again, we have the 2 folders, System and Custom. The System folder here works a bit differently. There is no extension available here. But you can replace the content of the parent theme, as shown in this example. Malibu contains PageUp.js and PageUp.min.js. By creating these files in our darkness theme, we can just overwrite these 2 files from the parent theme. It's the same mechanism as in the styles and HTML templates. The custom folder for JavaScript is completely different. You can either create global scripts or specific area scripts. To create a global script, you can just create a new file in the custom directory. For specific areas, there's another mechanism. For example, we want to create a JavaScript file that's only included on the first page, on the start page. We can create a new folder called index and just place our JavaScript file into that folder. And we can rename it to cart instead of index. And then the JavaScript file will only be included on the cart page, and so on. Let's create our JavaScript directory. Create a new folder called JavaScripts. Within that folder, create again System and Custom. If we scroll down the store frontend page, you will see there's a small button down here. And we want to remove it using JavaScript. In your theme, go to the JavaScripts folder and System and create a new folder called Widgets. Within that folder, create two files, PageUp.js and PageUp.min.js, both with the same content. This file is a JavaScript module file, following a specific format by the shop system. Our biggest change is just to remove all side effects, leaving this module as a non-operational JavaScript. To understand why we have to create this structure with the widgets folder, we have to look into the original module location, which is located in the honey grid. Go to JavaScripts, System, and Widgets. If you scroll down, you will see the PageUp widget here. And you will see the difference. This is the original content. And you see it's the same structure. Let's create our custom JavaScript files. Within that custom directory, create a new file called darkness_switcher.js. This file selects the switcher button and it attaches an event listener for a click event. When the button is clicked, it will toggle the dark mode class on the body tag. And then it will perform the click once, so that we can ensure that when we enter the page, it will always have the dark background. Very simple. And then we create an index folder and we create a new file within that directory called darkness_greeting. That's a simple console log statement. This is only executed on the index page, which is the start page. The darkness switcher is called every time because it's a global script. We can rename index to cart, and then this script will be called only on the cart page. Let's rename it back to index. Let's see the result and validate our changes. Go to the Gambio admin and clear the cache. And then return to the store frontend. We are now starting in the dark mode. Let's try the button. And it toggles. It works. Perfect. And now let's see if the console statement is working. We are on the index page and there should be a message. And there it is. Hello from the dark side. Perfect. When we now switch to the category page, the message should not appear. Yes, works. Alright. Let's see what we have done so far. You know how to create a theme now, using the meta files. You know how to work with content manager entries, and with assets like templates, styles, and JavaScript files. I hope you could learn from this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching.